What? Hello there. We are here in the Book Nook. I'm Sin, and today we are going to talk about a book called The Horse by Willy Vlautin. This book is about this guy named Al Ward. It's in current times, and he kind of lives this isolated life. He's on this piece of property that he had inherited, and it's on like a miner's claim, and it's very isolated. His nearest neighbor is not very close. I want to say they're like 30 miles down the road. He's in his mid to late 60s. He might be 67 at this point. Maybe he's 65, somewhere around there. It follows the story of his life. So he lives in Nevada where he grew up, and he was in several different bands throughout his life and was a pretty good songwriter. Even though he may have doubted himself as being a pretty good songwriter, he was. One day when his mom's boyfriend gifted him this beautiful guitar, he hit the ground running and never looked back. He just became completely obsessed with playing the guitar. And so you get all these little vignettes into his life of the different bands he was in and the stuff he did, the mistakes he made. And, there was a lot of alcohol involved, which, alcohol is not always the greatest and can be a ruiner of lives. And so it may have ruined a few things here and there. And then just his struggles with that, and then when he wasn't drinking and it seemed that other people around him were doing substances that were kind of ruining their lives, and he'd try to rein them in. And so you fast forward and you're in the present where he's living in this isolated place. He doesn't drink anymore at this point, at least for now. And one day this blind horse shows up in front of his house, and he's not sure if it's actually there. Like, if he's finally just kind of lost it because he's been living in isolation for so long. So he goes out and he's like looking at it and goes and like gets it some water because it's just kind of sitting out there licking the snow, and the weather's not so great. It seems like it's around winter time right now, so it's a bit snowy. Each day, he goes out there, and this horse just like, he tried to like get it some grass for it to eat. He tried to give it like spaghetti noodles. Horses don't like spaghetti noodles, apparently, at least this horse. And this horse was blind and just kind of like sat there. And at some point, he's like, I gotta do something about this horse. I need to like either shoot it to like put it out of its misery or try and save it. So it's about this like inner turmoil of what to do about the horse, and it kind of gives him a new purpose in life again, because he decides that maybe he should try to save the horse. So he's gonna have to get to his neighbor's house, which is like 30 miles down the road. He's gonna have to walk to get there. So he starts his journey because he decides he's gonna try to see, because his neighbor has had a bunch of horses, and I believe it was kind of like a homestead farm kind of property deal. So the neighbor knew about horses and how to take care of them and would be able to tell him if they could save this horse or do anything for it and whatnot. So he sets out on this journey, and then you get all these flashbacks of his life into like times with these different bands and all the songs that he wrote, and you get all these different song names, and it's a really great book. It's a novella, so it's not too long. I think it's like 200 pages. Actually, I can tell you because I have the book right here. The Horse. All right, so it is, let's see, 194 pages. I read it pretty quickly. It just was very heartfelt, and you see every time this guy stumbles and falls and tries to pick himself up, and then at some point he took himself away from everything. And I think one of the reasons he went into living in isolation was because alcohol was such a problem. I mean, God, you live in Nevada, the land of like gambling and drinking and debauchery. So, and especially being a musician, being in casinos, being in bars, playing different venues like that, drugs, sex, rock and roll. He was in different kinds of bands, but a lot of it would be like country or honky tonk. Or there was one band with these two brothers, the Sanchez brothers, and they wanted everything played like hard and fast. And so I don't know what kind of music I would have described it as for that band, but you get all these different, all the women that were in his life, and then like his friends throughout the years and growing up, and the people that meant a lot to him and how they affected him and the different ways that his life took and his path through it. Then this horse shows up out of nowhere and kind of sets him on a soul-searching path, one might say, if you're looking for a story that's in a way almost about, is it about redemption? Maybe a little bit. It seems like that. It was a great book. I would highly recommend it. Had not heard of this author. I didn't even pick this book out. My partner picked out this book. He has actually been reading a lot more this year, which has been kind of cool. He really liked it, and so I was like, all right, I'll check it out, because I had read the synopsis and I thought it sounded pretty cool. So if you like books that have stories about musicians and redemption and blind horses that just show up on your door and you're like, what do you do about that? I don't know if people are looking for books about blind horses showing up on your door. That's kind of random, but it's a good read. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.